How can Rob Edwards rebuild Luton Town? That's what we are going to be looking at in today's video. So, first of all, players that will be leaving but have an opportunity to have their contract extended. Dan Potts, Elliot Thorpe, and Gabe Osho. And Osho is very important to Luton Town's team. So is Dan Potts as well. And I think if they do offer those players a new contract, they will be in very good form next season. Dan Potts could get maybe a move away to a lower club, maybe Burnley or Sheffield United if he plays well next season. But here is the current squad here, and that will change by next season because there's also players that are going back to their clubs on loan, from loan. Ethan Horvath, Marvellous Nakamba, and Drame. And obviously, Luton Town, they have a lot of responsibility on their hands next season to stay in the Premier League. There's also players that are leaving the club fully, no contract extension or anything. Sonny Bradley is one of those players. He has captained the Hatters since 2018, and now he's leaving. And I think obviously he was a very key part of that team. And there's also players coming back to Luton Town from their loan spells, from their previous loan spells, and there's a lot of players that Luton Town could be in for selling to get some cash on them to buy some more players. Goalkeepers to sign. Suggested goalkeepers to sign. Dean Henderson, Bryce Samba could be a good one from Lons, and Jason Steele as well from Brighton. I think those three choices could be a very good option for Luton Town because with Ethan Horvath leaving, it's obviously he's been a good goalkeeper for them throughout this season to get them into the Premier League, and now he's leaving, going back to his parent club, so he will not be playing for Luton next season. And with the signings that they could potentially make, there's also forward signings that they could make as well. Kelechi Iheanacho from Leicester, because obviously they're now in the Championship, so they could get a bargain with him. Taiwo Awoniyi from Nottingham Forest, who was playing really, really well last season. And there's also Patson Daka as well. I think, if we look at this heat map, this is the football that Luton Town have been playing this season. It's really good. It's really, really good. And I think going into the next season in the Premier League, Luton Town should be playing that type of football. And if you look at this as well, the players run to the defenders, run to the ball, getting those sort of spaces. And Luton Town need pressing players. And, that they could sign a few good players next season. I think they should keep. They are in contract negotiations with Pele Rodkin-Panzu, and he has been with them since non-league. That is amazing. He has been with Luton Town since non-league. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant what Pele Rodkin-Panzu has achieved with Luton Town. he is one of the players that could get who Luton Town are negotiating with for a contract extension. And I think maybe selling Elijah Adebayo maybe to get some money on him. He's an alright player, but just to have him up front wouldn't be very good. I would suggest maybe to sign James Maddison, but he could be going to Tottenham. So there is other alternatives. I think as we go back to this heat map, the type of football they play, they run down the wing quite a lot, getting those sort of. It's not much down the middle, it's more down the two wings, and there's also quite a lot of red near the left wing, right wing, sorry, and that's where they've been running to, and that's where the players press to the defenders. And it's impressive football what Luton Town have showed us throughout the last season, and to win that game so well, won comfortably. They won on penalties, but there are some key players that Luton do need to sign over the next season. Maybe they could maybe snatch Fabio Carvalho from Liverpool. He could be a good potential player for Luton Town. Maybe a loan or a permanent deal, and I think obviously with that, with signing Fabio Carvalho, he's not a bad player, but he's not the best, and I don't think he really has a future at Liverpool. He signed from Fulham to Liverpool, but I don't think he has a future at Liverpool. So playing in a team like Luton, he will get game time. And if they do sign Bryce Samba, or Dean Henderson, they could be in for a very exciting future in the Premier League. Most people think they'll just get relegated straight away, but maybe they will. Maybe they will. They could maybe sign somebody from maybe Aston Villa, Emi Buendia maybe. They could get Philip Coutinho, because he's not played that well over the last season. He's only played one game, and well, he's only scored one goal and not played many games under Emery, so they could sign him. And I think what Luton do need to work on is signing some more midfield players, because I don't think those midfield players will be there next season. Here are some suggested midfield players that they could sign. Yeah, I think to sign some of those players would be key for Luton Town. And, I'd like Luton to do well next season. I'd like Luton to do well. So, if they could sign some of these players, start building more of a squad of good players, they can actually prove what they have in the Premier League. And maybe they could even stay in the Premier League for a couple of seasons. It's going to be a test for Luton Town over the next 11 months. It's going to be a real test. A real test. And, yeah, it's going to be a massive test for what Luton Town can do over the next 11 months. Obviously, Marvellous Nakamba was a key part of the squad last season. He has now returned back to Aston Villa, and to improve on that would be amazing for Luton. They are obviously losing one of their key players, Ethan Horvath, back to his parent club, and yeah, I think they need to extend contracts on the likes of Pele Rodikin Panzu, because I think he would be a good player for next season to maybe keep on the bench for a backup. And I think, they could maybe sign some they could maybe sign Lewis Hall, could be an example from Chelsea, because he's got talent, and I can't really see him playing in that Chelsea squad with what potential that Chelsea squad has. Um, Amad Diallo from Man United, because I don't think he will get much game time next season. And I think with what outgoings they've got, they need to improve on the squad, because I don't really think Sonny Bradley was going to play much in the Premier League next season. Dan Potts probably won't play much. I can't really see him playing much at all. But it's really all up for what Luton Town can prove in the Premier League next season, because they have a massive season up ahead of them next season. To stay in the Premier League would be vital, and as it looks on this heat map, they can play football. They can do the bits that they need to do, and Rob Edwards needs to rebuild Luton Town a lot over the summer. Have a good pre-season with the games they've got in pre-season, and they can get Premier League survival, but they just need to sign some good players that can play for their team, and I think that's what they do need in their team. So for Luton to do that would be absolutely key to their season in the Premier League next season. And for Luton to maybe get, you know, for Luton to get maybe, if Rob Edwards does end up being sacked, which may happen next season, Gary O'Neill, even Gary O'Neill, if he hasn't found another job before, if Rob Edwards gets sacked and Gary O'Neill hasn't found a job before then, Gary O'Neill could be a good replacement for Rob Edwards if Rob Edwards does get sacked. But I think it's disgraceful that Bournemouth have sacked him anyway. But yeah, yeah, I think if Luton Town do improve up on their players, they could have a very good season in the Premier League, and it's obviously working for them because they're a good team. It's going to be a test on the first game, but I think they could give Brighton a very good game. I think that's what they will do. Yeah. As if we go back to that animation, they press towards the ball. Obviously, you can see the players pressing towards the ball, and that's what they need. That's what they need their players to do, and that is key to what they need to do in the Premier League next season. They need to press the ball as much as possible, get around the defenders, defend the ball. You know, that I feel like I said a lot in this video. I feel like I said that quite a lot, but they need to press their mid. They need to press the opposition as much as possible, and to do that against the big teams, shock maybe Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, they will be in for a good season next season, I think. Yeah. I'm not saying Luton Town will stay in the Premier League, but I'm not saying they won't get relegated either. My Premier League predictions video will come out in the next couple of weeks. But if you are interested in any predictions videos, go take a look at this video here. My championship predictions, very early championship predictions actually. Yeah, so go and take a look at that video. I guess, yeah. Yeah. This is my finishing team here. That is what I hope the Luton Town team would look like. and I'd like to know your thoughts. Well, um, I don't have comments on, so I've said it again. So if you agree with that team, like the video. So I don't turn comments on. So yeah, like the video if you agree with that team. I think it's quite a good team, to be honest. And I think if Bryce Samba did end up signing for Luton Town, he would do a great job because he did a great job at Nottingham Forest. But yeah, that's all for this video. How can Rob Edwards rebuild Luton Town? There will be probably one out for Sheffield United and Burnley in the next 2-3 weeks. Same video out for Sheffield United and Burnley. But yeah, that's all for today's video. How can Rob Edwards rebuild Luton Town? That is my squad that I hope would be the squad. They need to sign some good players, and I think with those players that they could sign, they've got potential in the Premier League. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to do, which means like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Like, subscribe, turn post notifications on, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.